Who's got it better than us? Well, Jim Harbaugh is probably saying that more often these days than he ever has, even though that's a favorite line of his. Things are going pretty well for Michigan football. We got Justin Rowe on the line. Blue by 90. That's Blue by 90 podcast, blueby90.com, and also Wolverine Plus. That's Wolverine.plus. Justin, what's going on today?
Not much, as you said. There's a buzz in Ann Arbor going on. You wouldn't, March here. It's not for the basketball team in March Madness. They were stuck in the NIT, but the Michigan football. I mean, people are still pretty pumped about the big back-to-back Big Ten champs, and now when you reel that in and put it in with some great recruiting in spring ball, we're feeling good over here in Ann Arbor.
So that's what you hit on right there, because any Michigan detractor could say, okay, well, yeah, you did it on the field. You put the right team together. It's a veteran team for the most part. That team's really good, but man, this recruiting's not been great. So it's going to stop here pretty soon, and Ohio State's going to take back over. But man, I ran some numbers the other day. Justin posted a few videos on this. Michigan has basically either been kept out of the Buckeye State or they have stayed out of the Buckeye State. I think maybe there's a combination there. The players that they have pulled out of Ohio under Jim Harbaugh, there has not been a player rated in the top 10 in the state of Ohio until this year. A couple of those players turned out to be really good players. They just weren't highly touted coming out of high school. Now we're looking at like 3 of the top 4 players in the state. And, there's, it's maybe an aberration. Maybe it's just a couple outliers that could be argued, but this hasn't happened during Jim Harbaugh's era or even well before that.
Yeah. I mean, I think what we were all waiting for was this, right? You were waiting for, all right, you beat Ohio State in 2021. And then everyone like going into the offseason of 2022, you're thinking, all right, when do you capitalize on it? When do you get a few of those big recruits? And it didn't really happen. Michigan's 2023 class was, I mean, it ended up being okay, but nothing to write home about. And so this right here, what happened in the past 2 weeks is what we've been waiting for. All right, you beat Ohio State in back-to-back years. You win back-to-back Big Ten championships, and you go to the college football playoff. Well, then you go into Ohio and you steal some guys. And I don't care if your Buckeye fans over there are saying, we didn't want them anyway. We didn't offer them, blah, blah, blah. We're stealing good players from the state of Ohio that are, some of them are even, I don't want to say legacy guys, but their families are Ohio State families. They have fans, friends that are fans, all that stuff. And so this is what Michigan fans have been waiting for the last 2 years is, when are you going to capitalize on the championships, on the run that you're having right now, and put it into some recruiting? And now you look at what Michigan's doing, and listen, it's very early. We know that for sure. It's very, very early in the cycle, but you're at number 3 in the country in recruiting rankings right now. This is how you build a 10-year run like Ohio State just had, and you build on that. You get the 4 and the 5 stars, and especially you stake your claim in the middle of Ohio. This is how you build it right here.
9 hard commits for 2024, 4 out of Ohio. And, I'm not going to go full pro Michigan on this or pro Ohio State, because the truth is somewhere in the middle. And the best I can divide the truth is, again, Michigan's not getting top 10 players out of the state of Ohio for a long, long time, probably pre-Urban Meyer. And now they get the number 3 player in the state, the running back out of Cincinnati, Jordan Marshall. Excuse me. There's a heavy lean for the 4th rated player in the state out of Youngstown Fitch, and edge rusher, Brian Robinson. So here's the deal. The other thing, so those guys they were off the radar, off the map before for Michigan. In addition to that, this is what I would be concerned with too, from the Ohio State perspective, would be, okay, if you look at Ohio State year to year in the state of Ohio, they're only interested in like the top 7 or 8 players. They like the year before 2023 class, they grabbed 7 of the top 8 players. It's pretty like once you get past like 8 or 9, they're really not that interested. They're not touching. They may grab a program player down the ranks, but they're really locked in on, because that's about how deep Ohio goes with like really high 4-star guys. But if Michigan's producing the best offensive lines in the Big Ten and possibly the country the last 2 years, and they're grabbing guys that are offensive linemen that are ranked like 14th or 15th in the state, I would think, okay, well, that's typically not the kind of guys we get here. Maybe we should be going after those guys, because I'm not going to be surprised if Michigan takes a couple offensive linemen like they have in previous classes from Ohio and turn guys that are like the 15th rated player in the state, 3 stars, and turn them into really good players.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, that's what I see in like a Ben Roebuck, for example, 6'7", 320. And whether he's a 3-star or a 5-star, and obviously he's sitting at a 3-star right now, I think that Michigan's Jerome Moore is looking at him saying, we can figure that out. I think with the development that they've had at that position group, they're going to say, he's a big boy. He's got talent. They're trying to find those diamonds in the rough. It feels like that. And it's guys, this is what Jim Harbaugh is looking for right now. Obviously he wants talented players, but he wants guys that are all in on Michigan and love to play football. They're grinders. They're not some kid that's looking out for a big NIL deal or something like that, going to the best spot for him financially. He loves guys that are in and sometimes have a little chip on their shoulder. And I think that's what you're going to find with a Luke Hamilton, a Ben Roebuck, those types of guys where it's like, hey, Ohio State wasn't giving me as much love as I thought that they should have. They were going for the 5-star out of Florida or something like that. They didn't want the guy that was in their backyard that has loved Ohio State since the beginning. Jim Harbaugh loves that kid and is going to go for him and turn him into a Michigan guy that now has a chip on his shoulder and has a vendetta that he's going after Ohio State come November. That kid's playing way harder in that game than the 5-star from Florida that has never been to a Michigan-Ohio State game in their life.
Got Justin Rowe on the line from Blue by 90 and also Wolverine.plus.